Michael Munns, Emma Blanche, Trinity Douglas, and Annalise Bailey. So they helped a lot in the organization of this. Okay, so we are going to get started with introductions, candidates. I didn't get to tell all of you this, but we are going to have 1-minute introductions. You know, when I first organized this event, I was expecting like 5 candidates and 10 people showing up, but we got 28 candidates and a lot of people showing up, so it looks like it's pretty settled down. We start a little later than usual, so we'll just kind of work with the schedule, but we're going to get started. Over here, so 1 minute, candidates. When he holds up the blue, that means you have 15 seconds left. When he holds up the white, that means your time is done, and stop talking, please. Thank you. Awesome, so Craig Bowden, U.S. Senate.
Hello, everybody. My name is Craig Bowden. I'm running for the United States Senate here in Utah. And one of the things that I typically get when I'm going around is, I've got to be crazy to be running against Mitt Romney. Well, the truth is, I am crazy. I'm crazy about Utah, I'm crazy about liberty, and I'm crazy about every person who lives and works here. So I hope to meet all of you. Come on over, and look forward to meeting you all.
Hi, my name is Lee Castillo, and I'm running for Utah's 1st Congressional District. I'm looking to replace Rob Bishop in November. Our slogan is Utah is for everybody, because I truly believe that everybody should have access to health care, a higher education, and I just got the blue card. So Utah is for everybody is our website. I graduated from the University of Utah, and I'm a clinician at the Utah State Hospital.
Hi, I'm Adam Davis. I'm also running in the 1st Congressional District, trying to replace Rob Bishop. Grew up here in Ogden, and I'm excited to be running. I'm running with the Green Party, and I'm excited to be bringing new voices, new ideas to congressional races, to politics, and hoping to bring people into the process and give people a voice who don't feel like they have a voice in the two-party system.
My name is Eric Ellison. I'm running for 1st District Congress. I am a professor, adjunct professor at Utah State School of Business. I'm also an investor and a father of 4. Being a professor, now I'm on the other side with someone else holding up the time things instead of myself on the other side. But we believe, I'm running on the United Utah Party, and we believe in putting the American people before party, and putting public interest above special interests, and finding common sense and common ground solutions for all.
I'm James Coates. I'm one of the 3 Republican candidates running in the primary. We don't have a Democratic opponent in the fall. That's correct, right, guys? So it's just the 3 of us. So James Coates, I am one of the few individuals who went to the tax increase hearings 2 years ago and spoke out against that. I've been adamantly opposed to the Weber County tax increase. I personally audited the budget on my own time, met with the clerk auditor, and I believe that we need to shrink government in Weber County. As the highest taxed county in the state as far as sales and use tax, and one of the highest, if not the highest, in property tax. It fluctuates a little bit, but we're at least 2nd, if not 1st. We need to roll that back. Every day we lose automobile sales, other sales, because we have a 7.1% sales and use tax. People go to other counties to buy cars, so if we want to generate revenue and economic development, we don't do it by raising taxes. I will cut taxes, I will roll back taxes. I think some of the elected officials, including the commissioners, have a ridiculously high salary, and I think we need to end that. Thank you very much, James Coates.
Hello, my name is James Eagle. I'm serving as your Weber County Commissioner for the last 3.5 years, and it's been a tremendous privilege for me to represent you. I've worked a lot of areas. The first area is in transparency. When I came into office, we received a D from the Standard Examiner for Transparency, and I'm happy to report this year we just got the Reader's Choice Award for Weber County as being one of the most transparent counties in the state. We're very excited to have received that award. Working diligently in economic development, We just received from the state $300,000 to move forward with our economic development plan. We did not have an economic development plan before I got into office. So again, very excited about moving forward in economic development. And again, my name is James Ebert. Love to continue to serve as your Weber County Commissioner. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Gage Floor. I'm also running for Weber County Commission Seat A. I am a lifelong resident of Weber County, 5th generation, 40 years small business owner in Weber County, and I've had the opportunity to serve in the State House of Representatives for the past 12 years representing District 8. And I've learned a couple of things at my state job and also my business job. First off, I've learned very much that we have to listen very carefully to the people that elect us. They can tell us the direction we need to head. Economic development is very important to this county. I listen very important because I'm a small business owner. I can tell you the pathway to good economic development is not to put more county government directed dollars into studies, private contracts, etc. The way till we go forward for economic development is to reduce taxes, get off the backs of our small government, give the money back, let them use their money to grow their businesses, and we will be a more prosperous, profitable Weber County in the future. Gage Floor, Weber County Seat A. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
My name is Neil Hansen. I'm running for Weber County Commission Seat B. I served in the House for 12 years and enjoyed every minute of it. Being a Democrat in Utah makes it very hard, but I want you to know it's not, I swear. So always look towards the Democrats. In government, though, I believe that there are certain principles that need to be maintained in our public offices. And the first and foremost is integrity, trustworthiness, accountability, responsibility. Those are the things that need to be had in all of our elected offices. And when you have a one-party control, you seem to lack a lot of those different principles that should be in those offices. But anyway, as a candidate, I look forward to meeting many of you as I get out and walk the neighborhoods and the doors. And, appreciate being here, and thank you for putting this on. Neil Hansen, County Commissioner.
My name is Scott Jenkins. I'm running for County Commission Seat B also. Neil and I will be opponents in the general election. I've been in the political game for quite a while in different positions. I served as a mayor in Plain City for 4 years. I was on the city council for 8 years, so I know municipal government, and that's of course what county government is. I was talking to Howard Stevenson the other day from the Utah Taxpayers Association, and he says, Senator Jenkins, he said, let's see, your county is the highest tax county in the state. He says, Ogden City, let's see, he says, Ogden City is the highest tax city in the state. He says, oh, the Weber School District, you're the highest tax school district in the state. Man, aren't we better than that? We got to do something about that. That's wrong, that we should be the highest tax in those three. And that's my goal to do that. Thank you very much, to solve that issue.
Zach, thanks for putting this together. My name is Ryan Arbin, candidate for Weber County Sheriff. About 2 years ago, I was hired as the chief of a small police department. This police department had a lot of problems. And within 2 years, we turned this thing around. And my goal and drive to fix the problems that were up there is to fully invest everything I can into the employees and their families, because that's what really matters. As a leader, you owe everything you can to make it better for those officers that serve us. Yes, they're hired to take a bullet for us, but it's one of the only professions that it's expected. And being an outsider from the sheriff's office, this is going to be a great opportunity if you give me your vote. Ryan Arbin for sheriff. Thank you.
My name is Kevin Burns. Wow, sorry. My name is Kevin Burns. I'm running for the office of Weber County Sheriff. I am a 28-and-a-half-year law enforcement veteran, 27 years in the sheriff's office, just recently retired as the chief deputy, looking to go back as the sheriff. I'm not going to be able to tell you a lot about my plan in 1 minute. Our table is set up behind us. Got plenty of opportunity for you to contact me. I'd be happy to come into your home if you want to form a group or organize something like that. I'd be happy to come talk to you about the plans for the sheriff's office and the way we can clean that up and then fix the personnel issues that we have in there. Recruitment and retention is a big problem at the sheriff's office. Sheriff's office is going to disappear if we don't make some big changes fast. Those of you that don't know the story, but those of you that do, I'm clearly not one of the good old boys, and I'm just angry enough to clean things up. So, thank you.
I'm David McInnes. I'm running for Weber County Sheriff. I seems to be the main word tonight. To do what needs to be done at the Sheriff's office, we need to turn this from I to we. I have a vision. There's things that need to be done. There's changes that need to be made. We need to correct our course. We need a culture change, but we can't do it by ourselves. And that's one of the things that I want people to understand. I'm very inclusive, not exclusive. I tell people I look for a way, not the way. I believe in being flexible when making decisions, and I understand that that's what it's going to take this sheriff's office into the future. I'm David McInnes. I'm running for Weber County Sheriff. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ricky Hatch. I'm the current Weber County Clerk Auditor. Thank you for putting this on. It's impressive that students put such a great event together. I absolutely love my job. I get excited every Monday morning that I get to come in and go to work. And I am not disappointed Friday nights, but I do leave the office a little hesitantly. The County Clerk Auditor handles your vote and your money. And if you think about things that are central to this republic, your vote and your right to property, your right to pursuit of happiness, those are two central tenets. And as Clerk Auditor, I vow to continue to protect those and to serve you in the best way possible. Please, tonight and other times, anytime, call me, email me, text me, come visit. I would love to talk to you and answer any questions you might have. And don't be afraid to challenge me. It's the way that we learn and get better. So thank you, Ricky Hatch.
So over here on this side, we have, if you live in Weber County, these people are running to represent you. But on this side, these are the people running for different Senate and House districts in the county. So if you'll look on the map, wow, I'm blocking, sorry. If you'll look, right there on that map, we'll have all the districts kind of shaped out. So just be aware of that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Bryan. I'm running for Senate District 18 for the Libertarian Party. My main thing is I want to shrink government as much as possible, protect your rights. I believe if you're not causing harm to anyone, you should be free to live your life as you please. And elected, I will work towards that. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you all for coming tonight.
My name is Jason Yu. I'm also running for Senate District 18. I'm running for a cleaner, safer, and smarter Utah. What I mean by that is Utah has some of the worst air quality in the nation, mostly in the winter months, but something that we do need to focus on, and there's a lot that goes into that. Smarter, our education, we have some of the lowest per pupil spending in the nation, and our teacher pay is right about average, and I want to help fix that. And then safer, I know gun violence has been in the news a lot lately. Things like suicide are a pretty major part of gun deaths here in Utah. And I want to work towards helping solve that problem and making sure that nobody has to die from a gun death.
I'm Kyle Anderson, and I'd like to be the next Republican representative from House District 7. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge my wife. Honey, if you stand up, she's a big part of this team, and I love her, and so I'm grateful for what she's done. I'm a retired auditor. I spent 35 years auditing the IRS, one of the most hated organizations in the nation. So I take a critical look at government. I spent my career looking for problems and recommending solutions, and I'd like to take that skill set to the state. I think we need to limit the state's intrusion in our lives. I think I'm a very strong advocate of limited budgets and to keep taxes low. We need to have a zero-based budget in the state, which means that every so often we take a look at an appropriation and we take it down to zero to see, is the money being spent wisely? Do we still need that? I think that our tax dollars can be spent better, and that's what I've done, and that's what I'd like to do as a representative of District 7. Thank you.
My name is Jason Allen. If you look up here on the board, it actually says David Owen for District 7. David is a friend of mine. David couldn't make it tonight, and I wasn't going to be here, but some things changed, and so I am here now. I am actually running for House District 11, which I call the Bonneville High School District. That's the Riverdale, South Ogden, Washington Terrace, Uinta District. David, as I mentioned before, David and I were good friends. He's got a beautiful young daughter. I have 4 amazing young sons, and we were talking one day, and we said, we were discussing why we wanted to run for office. And we both came to the consensus that we're sick of hearing that we want a better future for our children, because that seems like we're making concessions. Both of us are running because we want the best possible future for our children. My experience as a licensed civil engineer and a former high school math teacher and an entrepreneur, and Dave's experience as an entrepreneur, we believe that we can plan and prepare and make the best possible future for our children. So David Owen, House District 11, Jason Allen, David Owen, House District 7, Jason Allen, House District 11. Thank you very much.
Now there's a guy who can represent 2 people at once, so that's awesome. Hey, these Weber High students are amazing. I am so impressed and proud when I see incredible students like this who are willing to take up a stand and bring together all of these people. And so could you guys just join me in giving them a round of applause? This is the kind of leadership we need. And these are the kind of people that I want to join the conversation. I'm Lisa Ross Kelly. I'm running for District 7 as a Republican. Kyle and I are in a primary race. And I want to have more conversations like this one, where we get to talk about important issues, and we get to address things like our economy and education and government transparency. And so I've walked and talked and knocked on hundreds and hundreds of doors throughout the District 7, and I'm excited to have more conversations with you. So come over, let's have a conversation tonight, and thank you for being here tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here, and I just counted, and there's 117 people on this side of the room, and you're the reason I am here. Let's give yourselves a big round of applause. You're amazing, because you did it. You actually care. That's why I'm here. I actually care. So I'm running for 3 reasons. First of all, common ground, because I do believe that there is common ground in Utah. 78% of Utahns are in the middle. If you look at my sign, those arrows to the red and the right and the left and the far corner, I'm not that person. I'm in the middle with you. Second, I'm running for an economy that works for everyone, and that means education that works for everyone. I've been teaching 25 plus years at Weber State in the economics department. I've been teaching over a decade in the high school level. Young people are my life. I understand where they are, and we need someone in the legislature that understands that. And the third reason I'm running is for ordinary people and the dignity of all people. So I believe that everyone in this room matters, and I will speak to that voice for you, and I look forward to meeting you, working for you, and representing you. Thank you, Dina Frower.
My name's Jason Kyle. I'm running to represent District 8 in the Utah House of Representatives. I'm going to count each one of you after, because I don't believe she counted every single one. But, it is great to see you out here. It's good to see people that are involved. So my name's Jason Kyle. I'm a chemical engineer. I'm not a regular politician. I go to a job, I go calculate boring things, and then I come home to my family. But the reason I'm running is because I think that government on every level wants more and more of our tax dollars. It seems to becoming a burden on families, and it's just too high. I've spoken to other families like me, other young families, and when they don't see a huge portion of their paycheck, it's really hard for them. I'm running to look at lowering that burden, looking to increase our personal liberties, and sustain our constitutional rights. My name is Jason Kyle, running District 8. Thank you.
I'm Steve Waldrop. I'm also running for Legislative District 8 as the Republican nominee, hopefully after the primary election. Take a look around the room. Look at your neighbors and friends. And this is a key, and this is why I'm running. We have shared values. if you look around at your neighbors and friends, you will notice that they and you have shared values. Too often we get divisive in our political discourse, in our personal lives, and we need to focus on those shared values. That's where we all live. Among those shared values is lower taxes, a belief in the Constitution, private property rights, the ability to live our life as we see fit. Those are the values that I run with. We need accountability at every level of government back to the people, back to us who pay for them. I'm Steve Walder, running for Legislative District 8. I hope to earn your vote. Thank you.
I'm Kathy Darby. I just saw my friend Andrew rolling in. Thank you. I'm running because I'm a lifelong grandma of 12 and a lifelong resident of Weber County. I am a public servant, retired after 31 years of working for the IRS, so don't boo me. But I was a senior tax analyst and a senior operation manager. I managed hundreds of people, and I have the skills that I can use at the State House. I'm also a Franklin Covey facilitator, and I've been trained as a certified mediator by the Utah State Bar. I want to thank these young people, these young men and women who planned this tonight. I am so proud of them. My grandkids, some of them are this age, and we want them to be the ones that come in. If I get to the State House, I'm going to work on increased funding for domestic violence, opioid addiction, and teen suicide. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lorraine Brown. I want, first of all, to salute you up here for caring enough about our political system. You're here tonight. Those behind me, I have huge respect for what it takes to be elected and for the personal toll that it takes in their lives. I want to tell you about me tonight. My name is Lorraine Brown. I'm an attorney. I'm a mother of 11. I have learned a few things along the way that I want to share with you. The first is and this is a primary reason I'm running, is I have learned that there is an increasing opportunity gap between rich and poor. Those of you who are over 50 up here, the world that we entered when we graduated from high school is much different than the world these kids have. And these are largely detrimental differences. I would like to address those differences. There's an income gap, there's an opportunity gap that we need to address, or we've got a crisis in the country. I'm also very much convinced that there are ways to change that are constructive. And what we need to do is raise our voices when we see things that can be done to change our system. I am articulate. I have been defending people who have problems for years. I can defend you in the State House. I am grateful for the opportunity to run.
Hi, folks. Who I am is not important. Who I represent is. His name is Terry Scout. Terry, among other things, is a combat vet from Vietnam, as am I. I work with Terry on things that affect veterans because they're not being represented in the House of Representatives. Terry will be the only veteran in the House of Representatives, as far as I know. Why is that important? Because there's 187,000 veterans in this state. And roughly 40% of them have no idea what they're supposed to be doing and who's supposed to be represented. See me at the table, thanks.
Good evening. My name is Rick Jones. I'm running for the 12th Legislative District. I was prompted to run by Mike Schultz, my opponent. He put out a flyer a while ago that said he would stop the current federal gun grab, and he also mentioned that the Second Amendment gave us no wiggle room, and some things that, from my studies at BYU and other places, shows he has some very inaccurate views. I think it would be beneficial for the state if we could have much less partisanship and if our highest loyalty would be to the truth, not to a political party. My opponent introduced a bill that some sources claim would cost $50 million to change the name of UTA. And to my thinking, that's just the product of misguided groupthink. Thank you very much.
I'm Representative Lee Perry, and I represent Northwestern Weber County in House District 29 and part of Box Elder County. I've had the pleasure of serving as a representative there for 6 years, and I'm running again because I believe that I still have something to serve and provide to the people of that district that I represent. I feel like I've been able to be a voice to them. I've been able to have, every year I've been in the legislature, I've been able to run a constituent-driven bill that somebody has brought to me that had to be fixed, and we were able to run it and take care of those problems during that time. I'd love to visit with you over here. I have 30 years of public service as a law enforcement officer. I love serving the people. That's why I got into this. Is you get yelled at as a policeman, you get yelled at as being a politician. Kind of all rope runs off your back if you know that you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kerry Wayne, and I'm used to being last because last name W, you always sit in the back of the class, whatever. But I'm going to tell you something that probably will amaze you and also shock you. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat because I care about Utah families. I think that health care, affordable health care, affordable prescriptions is good for Utah. I think affordable education is good for Utah. I've got a daughter, she started a master's program. I completed mine for under $8,000. Hers is looking at $60,000. Again, they were both state institutions. I think that quality air is good for Utah. I think that also taxation, I think that we need to be responsible. I'm contracts manager. I make sure that the contracts get completed. We get good value for what we have. I think I can do that for the state of Utah as well. Kerry Wayne, House District 29, for you, for Utah.
We have one more candidate, Kurt Whiteland, running in Congressional District 1.
I sincerely apologize for coming in late. I was in a meeting in Salt Lake and the traffic was horrible. It was my fault. I apologize. I'm Kurt Whiteland. I'm running for Congress in Utah's 1st Congressional District. I'm going to break up a minute in 2 parts. Number 1, credentials. I spent 23 years in the United States Army, enlisted and commissioned. I led hundreds of troops on 2 continents. I own a small business here in Utah for 22 years. Second part I'd like to address is concerns. First concern, access. The people who represent you need to listen to you and spend time with you and have regular town halls and listen. Second concern is term limits. 4 terms for a representative, 2 terms for a senator, and that's it. We do not need a professional politician class. Thank you, and I beat the time.
So we did start a little bit later than I expected, but that's all right. So, wow, I didn't even look at the time when I pulled out my phone. So it's 7:47, so until about 8:10 we'll be doing some Q&A. So if anyone from the audience has any questions, you can come right, I didn't really make a spot. We'll go right here. We got a, I don't know, Xbox spot right there, yeah.
For those senators and representatives for the national party who have come here to represent themselves, not those who have sent cat's paws to do it for them. The nature of our Social Security disability in this country is appalling. 10,000 individuals a year die waiting to get their benefits. And for those who get their benefits, it is a never-ending struggle to keep those benefits, do the song and dance imposed on us by the federal government, as well as have to sit through the welfare reform, and there aren't enough quotation marks in that, about people coming after our livelihoods for quick political points. My question for you would be, what do you plan to do to make sure that those who need the benefits receive their benefits in a timely fashion? You have the floor.
First thing that we need to do with Social Security, and this is both main Social Security as well as Social Security disability, is we have got to remove the income cap from the Social Security tax. Because the fact of the matter is working class people are paying far, far more of their income into Social Security than the top earners are. It's capped at, what it, last I knew it was 180,000 unless they've raised it since I last 108, excuse me, 108,000. So we need to remove that cap, expand benefits. This would impact, as I said, both the main Social Security program as well as Social Security disability. And as far as the process, I agree that the process is really unwieldy and we need to make more on that.
So my question is directed towards Adam Davis, and I was looking at your website, and I'm just going to quote from your Workers' Bill of Rights, and it says, you plan to eliminate involuntary unemployment, chronic underemployment, put upward pressure on wages, and empower workers to confront unfair treatment without adding any new regulations at all. And I'm just wondering, how do you plan on doing all of that without adding a single new regulation?
Well, the first thing is that, so what that's referring to is a job guarantee program. It would replace current unemployment programs, and what it is it's funding for state, local, tribal governments to hire people in their community who would otherwise be unemployed, who need employment. In that case, what we're doing is actually funding this program to provide that employment rather than regulating the conditions of employment. And so this would actually not be new regulations. It would simply be a program that provides those employment protections.
Do we have more questions from the audience?
So I know you all hate me because I was the one that was like stopping you, but I really want to hear your story. It sounded really interesting about the TVU and changing of UTA. Would you be able to finish that for us?
This is this morning Salt Lake Tribune. And anyway, Mike Schultz was the House sponsor of a bill that would change the name of UTA. And it was repeatedly reported it would cost in the vicinity of $50 million. To be honest, I haven't done a lot of independent checking in that. I've just kind of gone with this Tribune and some reports I've heard on television and that. But to me, I mean, if you can't find a better use of $50 million than trying to change the name of UTA, that's pretty sad. So, thank you.
All right, any more questions from the audience? We got one right here, sir.
These gentlemen that are running as new commissioners are all telling us that they're going to get our taxes down. And from what I've heard, what I've checked on, the taxes that are being charged right now, the money is being spent where it needs to be spent. My question is, what's going to happen when we all find out that the Weber Fire District put through a big tax increase that'll go into effect this year?
how are we going to, what are you going to do to stop the Weber Fire District raising taxes about every year they do it?
Anyone like to answer?
So it's interesting to me that you're concerned about Weber Fire District raising taxes, but you're not concerned about our own county government raising taxes. I'm concerned about all taxes. We need to limit government. And I'm really not trying to be disagreeable, but I audited the budget, and when we spend twice as much per employee on IT as the average engineering firm in the United States, the money's not being spent well. When we are the highest tax state or highest tax county in the state, and we have some of the lowest paid sheriff's department employees in a level 1 or level 2 county, we're not using our money well. So I can tell you right now, there's waste to be found. There's waste in utilities, there's waste in IT, there's plenty of waste. When it comes to being a commissioner, we can only control our own taxes. There are a ton of taxing districts out there, and we can work with them, but we can't control their taxes.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up for that. Obviously, Weber Fire District's a political subdivision. They have the right to hold truth in taxation, and the public has the right to weigh in on this. What the county commission has the right to do and should do is look at every budget, just like we do at the state, and analyze each budget to see if the taxpayer, in fact, is getting their dollars worth out of those taxes. I would agree with what's been said up here. To have the highest sales tax, to have the highest property tax in our county is unacceptable. We need to look at every budget, just like we do at the state, on a line item basis. Believe me, I've never seen a budget in the state that could not be cut. You can't tell me for a minute we do not have budgets here in the county that cannot be cut. We need to look at each one very aggressively.
So really quickly, I would just like to, we've talked a little bit about the Utah Taxpayers Association, and I would like to let you know that we brought the Utah Taxpayers Association to the table when we were looking and making discussions and having discussions about tax increase. And the Utah Taxpayers Association, you know what they determined? It was needed. They actually wrote us a letter saying that. And so I think you need, what I would like you to have a feeling is that we did go through a very strenuous process. We did bring every elected official from the county around the table to have this discussion. So when you look at your other elected county officials, they were at the table during this discussion. There was a tremendous amount of vetting that this went through. It was unfortunate, it's extremely painful. I would like you to ask the candidate for commission how many of the directors that he talked to from the county when he makes assertions that they're overspending. Thank you.
Well, there's a saying that there's something you should know about government, and that is everything. It's called transparency. If I'm in the commission, there's going to be transparency. Things that come up that people are trying to do behind closed doors, trying to, let's not make a lot of noise about this, and maybe we can get the people to take it. I think that somebody needs to be able to speak up and speak up loudly when these type of issues occur. So anyway, thank you.
So you know, one of the first things you got to do is start analyzing what's taking place. Now, I understand the Taxpayers Association said you needed a tax increase, but that's to meet your expense. So you need to start looking at your spends. And I'll tell you some things that we can look at just like that. First of all, economic development. They talk about all the money they're spending on economic development right now. You want to know what the best thing you can do for economic development is? Cut your taxes so people, businesses will move in and you'll keep businesses. That's one of the best things you can do. The other thing is, well, I'm out of time. I'll have to talk to you. Come see me at my table.
Hi, this question is for Carrie Wayne. Carrie, I'd like to know what you would do about the huge disparity between what school administrators make and what teacher pay is. And we're going to have a strike in Utah, just like the states that have been around that have been having these dramatic strikes if we don't do something to increase teacher pay.
All right. One of the things I see in education is the fact that we actually have superintendents for school districts that are now making more, 50% more than the governor is. I think that we need to kind of rope those salaries in. There's so much administration cost anymore. My sister-in-law, she works in a school. She has a bachelor's degree. She teaches English as a second language. she gets paid $15 an hour because she's office help. The 3 top positions in the school, which is the principal, vice principal, and programs director, clear $500,000 a year. This is Canyon School District. Again, we need to kind of put the money where it needs to go, put it with the teachers. They shouldn't have to beg for tissues, shouldn't have to beg for pencils and paper.
This question is for Gage. Gage, I'm just wondering, you've been in real estate for decades and land development for decades. As a Weber County resident, I think a lot of us are concerned about how you will ensure that there will be no conflict of interest when it comes to real estate deals in Weber County.
Well, I know that question's been put out by some political opponents. So here's the straight story. I am in the real estate business. I make my day-to-day living by selling property, selling homes for people that want to move in or move out of the county. I haven't done any land development, i.e. what they say is somebody made the comment that I'm going to make $12 million. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I haven't developed for probably 30 years. I don't have any intents of developing land. I'm a private property rights advocate. If you look at my record, I've actually supported open space. That's what I plan on doing. There is no conflict. Feel free to talk to me afterwards if you have any direct questions.
This question is for Kyle Anderson. I've been impressed by the fact that property rights are essential to our existence as a nation, and I want to know what your feelings are about property rights and what makes you feel like you had any strength in that area.
I'm very concerned about property rights, as I work part-time doing appraisals, and I have seen as the West Davis corridor has been progressing, the UDOT taking people's land, and they've taken it it's legal, but they're taking it for wetlands mitigation. Actually saw a piece of wetlands that was not a good piece of wetlands that was spared, and 6 homes taken so that the UDOT could save money. I just think that there needs to be an advocate for those people, and property rights needs to be something that we look at, because that road development is coming our way, and so we're going to face that problem soon.
I have just 2 quick questions. One for the Weber County Commissioners that are candidates. The question is what would you guys do to eliminate or reduce the nepotism and the good old boys club in Weber County?
For the sake of time, we're going to do 25 seconds per answer.
I'll make this real quick. If anyone's read the newspaper about me, I ain't a good old boy. People don't like me. So I don't have family here. I did notice there was a Coates that just moved into Weber County. He's military. I don't think we're related. But besides that, I am the farthest thing from the good old boy club.
I'd love to spend some time. This is about a 20-minute conversation, not a 25-second. It's one of the tenets that I took up early. We had a lot of good old boys, and we created a process where you couldn't start $25 million projects anymore. You couldn't have, $100,000 change orders or $1 million change orders. You couldn't hire your buddies anymore. You couldn't make your buddies directors anymore. We put an end up to that. We brought in a new HR director who created a whole new policy that has moved beyond that. And in fact, we took the steps of actually moving directors down and actually terminating individuals that fell underneath that category. So thank you for that question.
Great question. This is obviously a huge problem in the county that exists in the last few years. We need to change that. The bottom line is we need to hire people that are right for the job, that are qualified for the job, not because they're our personal friends or relatives. There's state law against nepotism. We've seen that work at the state. We know that the state law exists for a reason. Hire the right people, and it'll cure itself.
I agree. Running for commission, I realize that there can be conflicts of interest as well as nepotism. But the biggest thing that I look for is Are we representing the people well, and are the people we're hiring, are they qualified to be in those positions? And it's not about family. I mean, to me, if I'm a commissioner, I would not even look at an application that had any kind of family relationship with me, whether it's an uncle, brother, cousin, fifth cousin, it would be out with me.
You know, the county has processes and rules, and they have an HR department. They need to let those people make these decisions, and the commissioners need to stay out of the way. And I think that's the way it's solved.
And then the second part of my question is directed to Gage for, if elected county commissioner, what would you do with the Weber Housing Authority and your wife as the chair board member and your business that runs most of the housing authority stuff through?
That's a great question. Gloria served on Olin Walker. She's been a housing advocate across this state. She's worked tirelessly for the Weber Housing. Actually, she's been the only person in this county that's actually created over $100,000. You can talk to Weber Housing for her efforts. She obviously will be, if I do win the commission seat, she'll be stepping aside, and hopefully there'll be some people that will take housing and housing affordability as a prime issue, because that's an issue that will come before this county for the future of this county. So she will not be part of that. She's already starting to resign. Hopefully somebody will take up those shoes and carry that banner forward.
Really quickly, I'd just like to speak to this first. My preference would be to keep Gloria Frohr working with the Housing Authority and let Mr. Frohr continue for 7 years. I will defend Gloria Frohr to the day I die. She's an amazing woman. She does an amazing job. I work very closely in homelessness and working in the Housing Authority area. We've collected a tremendous amount of energy from her leadership, and again, I would love to keep her there.
We have 2 more questions, and then we'll go to our session.
This question is to the state senators and the state representatives. Just recently the Senate voted to block the FCC's repeal of the net neutrality rules. However, the net neutrality rules are still slated to be canceled in, I believe, June 11th. Are you guys willing to pass public broadband throughout the state to put an end to this net neutrality debate once and for all?
I do support net neutrality, and I would really hope that our federal government does work to pass those net neutrality rules in place. Public internet, I think, is probably on the way in. It is something that I would definitely support. I don't think that there would be a lot of support for it currently, but it would definitely be something that I would like to put up.
I would not support having a public-run internet, but I would like to see and work with more of the federal government to see what policies we can have in place to protect user rights.
My question is for the candidates running for CD1. Over the past year, we have seen an attack on we have seen our public lands and our monuments cut up, divided, and opened up to mineral exploitation, mining, and their antiquities and beautiful areas are subject to being destroyed forever. What is your opinion on opening up these areas to private industry as opposed to keeping it safe for generations to come? And I'd like to hear from all of you.
And this will be the last question.
To directly answer your question is sacrilege. These are sacred lands, and they're public lands, which means they belong to the public. We've also thrown away the outdoor recreation industry, which can return 3 times the amount that the coal, oil, and gas deposits do. No one wants to see a Jiffy Lube next to the Rainbow Arch.
You know, these, I spent quite a bit of time down in Escalante in those areas, and they're beautiful areas. And we do need to find a way better balance. These lands cannot be ping-ponged back and forth depending on what administration. We've got to find long-term resolutions. There's way more common ground on public lands than special interests like to admit, and we need to protect them and put extraction sector.
I think the most important thing is to recognize that they're not yours and my public land. These lands belong to the people that have lived here for thousands of years. In terms of Bears Ears specifically, the Bears Ears Monument was asked for by a coalition of 5 native tribes. Our bishop says we had to right-size the monument. The right size for that monument is the size that the tribes whose sacred land it is asked for.
Thank you for your question. I adamantly oppose decreasing the size, and it needs to stay at the size that under Obama's designation. I've actually met with Native American leaders and spoken with those issues that they've been misrepresented, with their voices being heard. We have a Congressman, Rob Bishop, who doesn't listen to them, who doesn't listen to us, and that's why I'm running, because we need to protect those lands. We need to protect our health care for and these indigenous people who've been oppressed for so many years. And so I adamantly oppose that.
So I'm going to go ahead and answer as well, because I'm running for the U.S. Senate. So it does kind of include me as well. I'll be working with hopefully some of these gentlemen. The reality is that the tourism industry is one of the best industries in Utah. If anybody's ever driven down through southern Utah, central Utah, and just seen the beautiful mountains, that's something that does need to be preserved. Now, whether that's done at the state level or federal level, I may not be the most qualified to answer, but I would like to see those lands as protected and preserved as possible for future generations to enjoy.
And another round of applause for all of our candidates. So now for the next about 45 minutes, candidates, right now you can grab your chairs and go to your tables. That's good. It's nice bossing them around. So, yes, we're going to go into social time, so if you have any questions for the candidates, just go ahead and talk to them. Thank you for coming out tonight. If you have any questions or comments, come talk to me or any of my friends over here. Thank you very much. Good night.